Yeah.
You want to like him, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. You straight gangsters over here,
Straight
man.
gangsters.
Ah.
Yeah, good morning. It is Friday. It is October 5th, and we are the Scout Team bringing you Scout Team Sports. I am one of your gracious hosts. They call me Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
Yup. And the man on the other microphone, as long as it's turned on and he does not show up late like Conor McGregor, is...
Yeah, it's Chris America coming to you live this Friday. It is a Friday, Loudbeard. We made it to the end of the week, and it is another great weekend of football, of UFC fights, of playoff baseball that, for whatever reason, starts at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah, man. This is a great time of year because we're in full-fledged football mode. College football, pro football. Baseball's starting the playoffs. Hockey started. Not that we're going to talk about hockey today because there is so many other things to cover. It's a Friday. We do fantasy drafts every Friday. I mean, I don't even know where to begin because there is so much going on. And this McGregor fight that's coming up this weekend, man, I'm pumped. I'm ready for this because you and I, we like to bet on things. And I'm usually bad at betting, and I'm usually a degenerate gambler. But this time I feel very good about my bet. I feel very good what's going to be happening this weekend. And that's right. Conor McGregor is fighting Khabib. And I know that McGregor's going to win, so I put a romper on it. If McGregor loses, I have to wear a romper out to an event. Now, if Khabib loses, that means Chris America, you on the other line there, you're going to have to do the same thing. You're going to have to wear a romper out in public. Now, I bet on McGregor the first time around when he fought Mayweather, and I did have to wear the romper, and I manned up. I did my bet. But Chris America, when you lose this time, how are you going to feel about wearing a romper out in public?
I'm going to feel a little draft. There's going to be a little bit of a drafty draft going on. You know, I remember you telling us fans about that, and I'm going to feel okay. I'll feel good. I'll feel good knowing that I stood by my bet and that we promoting the show, but a little bit of ashamed. Deep down inside, I'll be a little bit of ashamed, a little drafty, but also all around glad that we're doing some good work here with Scout Team Sports.
I agree with you. This is why I take on these bets. I did the beard bet earlier in the year that I lost, which is sad. But I did it because it's all in good fun. It's all for the Scout Team, and it's all means that we're going to have a great year as the Scout Team and enjoy ourselves and just make the best out of every situation that we are in. All right,
and it allows the fans to know that we don't back down from our words. We pay for what we say. We don't need cold takes, subtweeting us or tweeting at us about our cold takes. We own up to them. We live up to them. We don't run away from them like all the sports turd media guys do.
That is so true, man. That is so true. I guess we'll jump straight into MMA. Let's get that going here first. So McGregor, Khabib, they have their the last presser before the big fight. McGregor, he kind of reminds me of you, Chris America. He likes to show up fashionably late, no matter what the circumstance, even if it is a press conference. Khabib does not have the patience for McGregor. He waits 15 minutes and says, "This guy's late. I'm out of here. I answered my questions. Have a great day." And then McGregor rolls in a few minutes later and says, "Hey, there was some traffic. I'm sorry, I'm late." He doesn't care.
No, he doesn't care.
No, he doesn't care. So, and he also says, oh, Khabib left? Oh, he didn't have the balls to stay. So, McGregor, he's one of those classic trash talkers. He talks more trash than anybody else. Now, another guy that I just sent you over the article a few minutes ago because I was reading this, and I don't understand this, but your guy, your favorite fighter in the whole wide world, that would be John Bones Jones, says he's not interested in a Daniel Cormier. I'm going to call it a third fight, but it's really a second fight because that second fight was deemed a no contest, so it's like it never even happened. So he doesn't want to have a second fight with Daniel Cormier. What are your thoughts on this one, Chris America?
Yeah, well, in the record books, it shows that Daniel Cormier has already lost to John Bones Jones once. In reality, what we've all witnessed, what we've all watched, we've seen him lose to John Bones Jones twice. So John Jones really has nothing to prove to Daniel Cormier. It's Daniel Cormier who's the one that's chasing the John Bones Jones ghost. And I know Daniel Cormier wants to fight that. And I don't know why I keep calling him Daniel Cormier. I don't know. But DC wants that fight. Jones, I don't think right now he's interested in it. He's interested in, he basically said, I'm interested in securing my legacy. I don't chase people. I chase greatness. And he wants to just go after the 205 belt again. He wants to work his way up through the ranks. He probably won't. Dana will just give him a title shot because that's what Dana White does. He just gives anybody and everybody who can make him money a title shot. That's basically how you get a chance to win a championship in UFC these days. So he's going to just work on that. And he said, I'm going to get what's mine, which is the 205 belt. And DC can keep what's his, which is the heavyweight belt. I'm not trying to make this personal. I'm not trying to go and ruin his life or take anything away from him. And so he's trying to be everything's copacetic. So he says he doesn't have anything to prove, and I believe him.
Okay. Spoken like a true Homer, a true John Jones lover over there.
What's your take then?
I guess my hot take is, without having the performance-enhancing drugs, maybe John Jones is worried that Cormier might sneak a win off of him. Now, I don't think he's worried that Cormier will dominate him or beat him into submission, but I do think maybe, just maybe, in the back of his mind, he thinks, well, Cormier is a good fighter, and without those extra PEDs that gave me that little bit of a competitive advantage, I might not be able to take this guy this time. So maybe that's what's going through his head. And maybe that is what the difference is going to be. And maybe that's why he is not interested in doing a third fight. He's like, I already got lucky and beat him once.
Lucky.
The second time, I had to be doped out of my mind to be able to beat him.
Man.
So
yeah,
the third time, I don't know if I can do it clean. That's maybe that's what's going on.
As I mentioned before, the amount of steroids in his system, the time of the fight, was about throwing a dash of salt into an Olympic-sized pool and calling it salt water. So, I mean, if you want to say that, that's fine. I know that's what everybody wants. I know DC fans and Daniel Cormier himself loves to use that as an excuse. But it's just poor loser. You're a poor loser, DC. You lost to Daniel, or you lost to John Bones Jones. He knocked you the F out. If his little dash of steroids helped, maybe he would have knocked you down instead of knocked you out, and then he would have jumped on top of you and pounded you into submission, and the fight would have ended like 30 seconds later. Or maybe it would have gone on to the third round or the fourth round. But we've seen these two fight, and at most, DC can hang with Jones, but he's not a better fighter. He's not even an equal fighter. He's never once proven that through any skill, technique, or any type of fighting style is he able to beat John Bones Jones with or without steroids.
All right, this segment was brought to you by performance-enhancing drugs. Hear more about this on Uneducated Fight Club coming up this Saturday night on 12 Ounce Sports Radio.
I want to
talk
to you about Reebok pumps, how they used to pump up your shoes and you can jump higher and you can run faster. Reebok pumps. You could beat Daniel Cormier if you just wear some Reebok pumps. I mean, that's basically what we're saying here.
Yeah, sure, Chris America. That's it. I'm moving on. Last night, your Milwaukee Brewers. I'm going straight to baseball.
Milwaukee Brewers.
You're right. I like these Milwaukee Brewers, man. This is a fun team to watch. And I think every game that they're in, there's got to be a little bit of drama. These guys can't just go for the jugular. They let other teams hang around, and then at the very end, they have to have heroics to win the games. So Milwaukee Brewers get a big win last night against the Colorado Rockies. It was game one of their series. It ends up going into extra innings, so they win in the 10th inning. But our boy Christian Yelich, who right now is the hottest player in all of Major League Baseball, he gets a 2-run shot early in the game. Brewers have a 2-0 lead through this entire game until the 9th inning. Now the stars over for Colorado, Nolan Arenado and Charlie Blackmon, they both drive in runs in the 9th inning to make it a 2-2 game. They go into the 10th, and Mike Moustakas comes up with a big hit and drives in Christian Yelich for a 3-2 victory. Man, this was a good game, and it's great to see the Brewers, man. Brewers right now are just so hot. What do you think about our crew?
Our crew is trying to prove that they deserve their divisional title, that it wasn't a fluke, that they're the top team in that NL Central division, and that it isn't the Cubs. The Cubs didn't get robbed of the division, that the Cubs didn't get robbed of their one-game shot at the playoffs. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to roll through the Colorado Rockies. I don't know if they're going to sweep them, but maybe a 5. No, sorry. They do best 3 out of 5. It's going to be maybe like a 3-1 series, I think.
Yeah, I think Brewers got this. I got to go Brewers all the way with you, man. This is our team. So
Colorado won't go down without a fight, but obviously, like we've seen, they've had to go extra innings in games. They hang around and they fight really hard. But I just think the Brewers are just all around a better team.
Now
Yelich is the deciding factor there, the main difference.
He's the real deal, man. He is the real deal. Now I wish the Rockies and Brewers were not playing each other because I kind of like both teams. I like what both teams bring.
Championship game.
It would be
NL championship game.
The other game last night, not a whole lot to write home about here for the Braves. Dodgers beat the Braves 6-0. We talked about how Ryu got the starting gig over Kershaw for the Dodgers. Well, that ended up being a great decision. He pitches 7 dominant innings. Braves weren't in this at all. 6-0. Dodgers end up having 3 home runs during this game. Yeah, it looks like the Dodgers are going to dominate. And going into Game 2 with an 0-1, being down 0-1, the Braves are looking at facing Clayton Kershaw in Game 2. That does not look good for the Braves. So Dodgers looking good out there. So that's our baseball from last night, man.
So the Braves are probably what the the Braves are probably what the Brewers were last year. That team that's on the rise, that team that's building up towards something really good. It's just that, the Brewers had the Cubs in their division to keep them out of the playoffs last year, where the Atlanta Braves doesn't have that in their division. So that's why they're there. I'm not saying that they're not good. I'm saying that they're good enough to make the playoffs, but they're not quite on par with the other teams that are in the playoffs right now. But that's not to say that the future isn't bright. I think the Braves are going to get some awesome experience here. You need your young team to get playoff experience so that way they can come back with that next year or the year after that and just build off of that success. And I think that's what we're going to see here. I think the Dodgers will win this series fairly easily, but every single game for the Braves is just important for that young team and that young core to just build on that playoff experience and build on the future.
Yeah, man, I'm with you on that. It's going to be exciting to see what the future is for the Braves. But, yeah, this series doesn't look very bright for them. A lot of great baseball coming up this weekend. All the series are kicking into full gear, so we'll have lots to talk about there. But moving forward, what else happens on the weekend is football. And Thursday night, to me, is like the kickoff to the weekend. So we had I would say it's a great matchup, but the Pats dominated last night. So the Patriots beat the Colts 38-24. You know what? When I saw this game, I thought I got a little weepy, a little nostalgic. I thought to myself, back in the day, and when I say that to myself, that means that I'm old, and that's the old Patriots-Colts, Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady series. 10 years ago, this would have been the game of the week, the best game to ever watch, and it's just not the same. I mean, Andrew Luck is a dynamic quarterback, but these Colts, they're not that good, and the Patriots are finally finding their stride. Julian Edelman returns, and it's like he never even left. Tom Brady's already finding him a bunch of times on the field, and our former Brown Josh Gordon with the big touchdown grab, and it was Tom Brady's 500th TD. He throws it deep to Josh Gordon, and Josh Gordon shows us that talent that he has. So the Pats are looking good, and I thought there was going to be a little bit of a level off this year, but maybe not. I mean, as it stands, the last 2 games, the Patriots are showing us that they are who we thought they were.
Yeah, the Patriots do this every single season, and I was listening to What's Up Sports yesterday on 12-ounce Sports Radio, and they made a good point with the fact that the Patriots or Bill Belichick treat the month of September as the preseason, like an extended preseason. They use it a lot to kind of just still work out their personnel against actual game type experiences, figure out who fits where, and then by the time, the first week or the second week in October starts, then Bill Belichick is ready to just roll with what he feels the team needs to do to win games. And I think we're just seeing it again, man. I don't know why we fall for this every year. I think it's because we hate the Patriots so much. We're tired of seeing the Patriots win that we just relish every single loss that they have. We eat it up, and we try to hope with all of our might that it's over. But the reality is this is not going to end until Tom Brady leaves or until Bill Belichick leaves, really. One of those two have to leave for there to be a chink in the armor, and then both have to leave before we're ever going to see any kind of fall off that the Patriots don't make the Super Bowl, or sorry, not the Super Bowl, but they don't make the playoffs, or they don't look like a team that can even do anything in the playoffs. So we're just back to square one with the Patriots being really good, and we just have to live up with it. It's almost over, guys. 2, 3, maybe 5 years tops.
You know what? I think the biggest problem, too, is that look at that division. I mean, the Patriots have owned this division for 10-plus years.
It's awful.
And you got the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets. And I think I said this on one of my predictions early in this, before the season started. I said I thought there would be a drop-off with the Patriots, but that they would still win the division. It wouldn't even matter. They could go 8-8 this year, and they would still win that division. Now, the Dolphins have surprised me with a early 3-0 record, but they lose Game 4, and I think they're going to come back down to earth. So this division is just so bad. The Patriots could be an average to mediocre team and still dominate this division. And as long as Tom Brady's there, they know how to win late in games. Belichick knows how to coach. Yeah, they're not going away. We're going to have to sit around on this ride maybe a couple more years. And one of these guys eventually will go away. Brady probably before Belichick. But, man, it's all Patriots all the time.
We just got to hope that, younger, newer teams, new-built teams will just come in and just punch them in the mouth like the Philadelphia Eagles did. Maybe, Patrick Mahomes is the Brady killer. We'll wait and see. Maybe the Steelers have one last hoorah to take down the evil empire of the New England Patriots. But either way, it's going to go through Foxborough. Somebody has to beat the New England Patriots in order to win. So just get used to it. They're going to be around for a while. You're going to see them win a lot of games, and especially against teams like the Indianapolis Colts. I know we thought that the Colts would be this great team with Andrew Luck coming back, and Andrew Luck has actually surprised me. I got to eat an idiot sandwich. I said we'd never see Andrew Luck in a Colts jersey again because that's how desperate the prognosis looked. They weren't saying anything about him for almost a year. No prognosis as to when he was returning, what the situation of his shoulder was. I mean, he didn't even throw a football till this past summer?
Yeah, and even then it was like, he's throwing like in the backyard, and it looks like he's having trouble getting the ball 5 yards down the field.
He looks good. He looks like the old Andrew Luck that we know and love, but he's on a bad team. This team is awful. He's the one that makes it go. They're still going to finish with maybe 4 or 5 wins. They're going to sneak out a couple of wins against maybe the Titans or the Houston Texans, or I don't know if they play some of these other, mediocre teams like the Oakland Raiders or anything like that, but they'll sneak out a few wins. They'll maybe surprise a couple of teams, but all in all, they're just a top 5, top 10 draft pick team.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Now, with the Patriots and Colts kicking off the weekend, I'm just going to talk real quick because we've got a lot to cover today. We're not going to spend too much on the upcoming games, but I'm just going to do one quick one for you because I know this is what you love to talk about. You have the GOAT, Blake Bortles, and his Jacksonville Jaguars coming up this weekend on Sunday up against the man, the myth, the legend, Chris America's favorite player in the entire league, Patrick Mahomes. So, Chris America, you've got Blake Bortles versus Patrick Mahomes. I ask you one question.
Who's your daddy?
I go back and forth with this game. This is the game of the week, I think. we're going to see one of the top-rated defenses, if not the top-rated defense in the league, go up against a top 5 elite future Hall of Fame quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. I think I'm going to have to side with the top elite defense because the elite top 5 future Hall of Fame quarterback is in his first year as a starting quarterback. I think he's going to make a few mistakes. And the guy in the other end, Blake Bortles, is good enough to shred this awful Chiefs defense. The only thing that I think gives them the edge is that this is in Arrowhead, and Patrick Mahomes just works his magic like he did last week against the Denver Broncos. But I see Blake Bortles having a 300-yard game or more against this defense. Blake Bortles can either play down to 150 yards passing and 50 yards rushing, or sometimes he'll come up and he'll throw for 350 yards, 4 touchdowns. I think against this awful Chiefs defense, we're going to see that. We're going to see a little bit of a 300 to 350 yards, 2 or 3 touchdowns, and the defense holds Patrick Mahomes to 20 points where the Jaguars score 27 to 30.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this game. You're right, 100%. Game of the week. That Jags defense, I think, is going to be the key. The Chiefs offense is going to be good. Now, how can the Jags stop them? That'll be the key to this whole game. But I got to go Jags. I'm going Jags in this one, and let's see what happens. I think this is a big game. This is going to be a playoff. These are 2 playoff teams. This is going to be a preview of what we're going to see in the AFC playoffs to come here. So I'm looking forward to it.
Mahomes has a chance to add to his legacy, though. If he can work his magic against this defense like he did the Denver Broncos, it'll just add to the myth, the man, the legend that is Patrick Mahomes.
Now, playing 4 games in the NFL, is that considered a legacy?
It will be. It's just part of the story, man. We're just going to add to it. Like I said, we're adding to it.
It's the first step in a long journey. Yeah.
Every single Hall of Fame quarterback had 4 first games. So
now
there you have it.
Other games this coming up weekend. Hot take. You're always spitting fire over there.
Spitting fire.
Now I'm gonna do a rapid fire because we got some other things to cover. But Ravens versus Browns. Who do you got?
I want to pick the Browns, but I don't know. Their defense, they need some work. The Flacco-Brown connection has been on fire so far this season. He's just opening the top of defenses, and the running game for the Ravens has actually been fairly potent. Not elite, but it gets the job done. It gets the work in, so that way they can open the top of the defense with that Flacco-Brown connection that they have going on there. So I think I got to side with the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, I got to go Ravens. The curse of Art Modell, it continues on with the Browns. Your Panthers, they're going up against the Giants. This should be an easy win, right?
Easy win.
My Redskins
No
going against
doubt.
My Redskins going against the Saints on Monday Night Football. I'm looking forward to this game. I don't know what the Redskins are yet, and this could be the defining moment. Is their defense that good? Because they're a top-rated defense at this point, which is surprising. And can Alex Smith be effective against that bad Saints offense? Let's see what happens here, but I got to go my Redskins, and that's just me being a homer and going for it. What do you think? Saints-Redskins Monday Night Football.
Ooh, I mean, this is a tough game. You got Alvin Kamara and the Drew Brees connection, and you also got Thomas on the outside. You guys have your work cut out for you. So I hope Alex Smith is ready for a gunslinging fight, but I also do look for the Redskins, which has a very elite defense this year. They're very top-notch. They've put it all together. They built that defense around Josh Norman, former Carolina Panther legend. So I'm going to go my best friend, my comrade, my ally. Even though you go against me all the time, I'm going to go with you because I'm that friend. I'm that friend that roots for his friends. So I'm picking the Redskins.
Oh, yeah.
I like that pick. So last game I just want to highlight real quick. I think both of these teams need a big win, and that would be Vikings versus Eagles. Both have very high expectations going into the year, and both have had a couple bad losses. So who do you got in this one? Vikings, Eagles.
Vikings, Eagles. I think these are two teams that are coming off a lot slower than they anticipated. They're losing the teams that they shouldn't lose to. They're kind of floundering on defense. You know, you had the Bills run up the score on the Vikings defense, and you had Ryan Fitzpatrick throwing the ball over the yard on the Eagles defense. So, I want to say I'm going to go with my boy Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins beats him.
In top
Beats
5.
the Vikings, top 5.
Gotta go with it. This is a coin flip for me. I'm gonna stay on the fence. I'm not picking a team. All right, going into. Go ahead.
So, okay, since you're going into college, I have a Who's Your Daddy, but I need to play a little clip for you first. Is that okay?
All right, you need me to get the sound effect queued up here for you?
Yeah, please get ready, but don't. I'll tell you when.
Yes.
We say I was a little disappointed that there weren't more students at the last game. And I think we're trying to address that. I don't think they're entitled to anything either. And me personally, I think it ought to be first come, first serve. And if they don't want to come to the games, they don't have to come. But I'm sure there's enough people around here to like to go to the games and would like for them to come too because they support the players. So I've never said anything about that before. When I first came here, we used to play that tradition thing up there, and everybody was cheering and excited and happy, and there was great spirit. All right, now they don't even cheer. They introduce our players. Nobody even cheers. So I don't know. Maybe there's something else somebody ought to talk about. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it.
All right. Between the student section and Nick Saban, Loudbeard.
Who's your daddy?
Who you got in this one?
I got to go with the student section. I go to quite a bit of college football games, and I've talked to people about this in the past. The student section, there's a little bit of a dynamic here that Nick Saban isn't taking into account, and that's the tailgating aspect. College football's playing these afternoon games in the middle of the heat, so these kids, they go out, they tailgate for 3-4 hours, get completely drunk, then they try to go into the game, and by halftime they're leaving, and it's empty, or they care more about trying to stand upright than they do about cheering for the football team. But that is their God-given right as a college student, and that is something that Nick Saban is being a tight butt, whatever about. I do not understand this. Call out the students if you will, but this is a university with college students, and those college students are also playing on your team, and they are the reason why you have a job, and they are the reason why you are at a school coaching football. So the student section is my who's your daddy of the week, and I want to say that Nick Saban, you can go fly a kite, and I know you have a great take on this, Chris America, and just to kind of lead you into it, maybe if they would schedule a team that was worth a damn, maybe then the students would show up. So that's all I got to say on that.
Yes, 100%. I emphatically agree with you. Your daddy is the student section, and you can throw away this idea of first come, first serve BS. You could throw away this idea that I heard on Talk Sports Radio all day yesterday about how, why don't they just sell the student tickets? No. The students already paid for those tickets. Those tickets were bought when you charged them an exorbitant amount for athletic fees towards their tuition, and then they're going to pay for it even more on top of their student loans. So get over yourself, Nick Saban. If you scheduled UCF, if you scheduled Ohio State, if you scheduled Clemson, if you scheduled any list of teams that are 1,000 times better than Louisiana Lafayette, then maybe the drunken students would sit in your hot sun, because once you are up 21-0, I have no reason to stay at this football game anymore. I have no reason to stay. Let's go to the after party already. Let's go see what all the other college football games are going on. I don't have time to sit around for this. Put on a better product, and your consumers will respond.
Man, 100% agree with you. Nick Saban, man, I feel like this is one of those situations where he deserves this.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Just gotta
He's
say
just
that.
an old get off my lawn man. For a guy that has 6 national championships, he's one of the most disgruntled, find something to complain about all the time guy.
That he is, man. All right. Well,
so I didn't mean to derail you. Just wanted to get that in there.
You're good. You're good. Well, it looks like we're close to the commercial break here. Maybe what we can do is go ahead, jump into a commercial. On the backside, we're going to go ahead and hit up our fantasy draft of the week. We may be talking about young quarterbacks in the NFL this week because That is what is dominating the league. So stay tuned. We've got a great show ahead. You don't want to miss it.
Did you know 40 points on your credit score could cost you $40,000 on a mortgage? Thankfully, Lexington Law is here to help. Since 1991, Lexington Law has helped over 500,000 customers take action on their credit reports. Call 877-910-7472 to talk to a repair specialist now. Personalized credit consultation is free. Getting access to your report is free, plus free score evaluation with a recommended solution. Call now and get on the path to recovery. Call Lexington Law at 877-910-7472. That's 877-910-7472.
Oh, it's summertime. And what's that mean? We're all heading off to the golf course. But don't go too fast. Make sure you go to 12ouncesportsradio.com and book a tee time. At the bottom of any page, you'll see Book Like a Pro. Click that banner, enter your course of choice or zip code, find a tee time you like, book that tee time, and you'll get up to 50% off, courtesy of 12-Ounce Sports Radio. Book like a pro, even if you don't play like one.
Ring Central features all-in-one phone, messaging, and video conferencing. It's easy to use with unparalleled security. Ring Central simplifies things so you can grow. Call Ring Central to speak with a representative about a price for your growing business at 877-779-3860. Again, that's 877-779-3860.
Man, it is great to be on the airwaves today. We are the Scout Team, bringing you Scout Team Sports. He is Chris America. I am Loudbeard. We love what we do, and we love that it's a Friday. Fridays are one of the greatest days. And I got to say, lineup today on 12-Ounce Sports Radio is going to be dynamite. Specifically, I just want to point out, Beck's Work Week in Review on at 2 p.m., This guy, he is the station janitor, and he also puts on a show. He does a great job. Check that out from 2 to 4. And then following Beck's Work Week in Review, you have the replay of Wednesday night Scout Team After Dark. And that is going to be something you do not want to miss. So definitely a great schedule ahead of us on 12-Ounce Sports Radio. Once again, we're the Scout Team. If you want to listen to any of our old episodes, or if you miss any of our live shows, you can always catch them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or you can always check it out on our website, scoutteamradio.com. And if you want to get social, you can check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Scout Team Radio. And with all that being said, Chris America, I think it's time for our favorite segment of the week, and that's when we go battle head-to-head, and we do full fantasy draft style. And you came up with a great category this week, a great subject matter. And what would that be, Chris America? What is our category?
Our category is going to be quarterbacks under 30. Not 30, but under 30. So they have to be 29 or younger in the NFL. Don't want you picking, Will Grier or something like that, although I don't think that would get you any votes. But, yeah, so quarterbacks under the age of 30 in the NFL, we're going to be drafting those. And I believe you have the first pick this week, sir.
Ooh, first pick, huh? That's a good one. Okay, so this was a good category. When I was looking at ages of quarterbacks, there are several quarterbacks that are exactly 30 years old that I would have loved on my team.
Like Kirk Cousins?
Like Kirk Cousins, he's a good one. Somebody else I was looking at was, and I don't know if he would have made my cut, but Case Keenum, great quarterback out of Denver, exactly 30 years old.
Yep.
I'm looking, man, and it didn't seem like it worked out. All right, so if I'm starting a team today and I'm thinking, okay, I need a guy that's under 30 that is going to carry my team to the promised land. I'm going off a guy that has had success in the league. I'm going off a guy that has won a Super Bowl, and I'm going this route because he's a guy that I would want leading my offense, and that would be Russell Wilson.
Ooh, Russell Wilson. That is a great first pick. I did not see that one coming. He is just at 29. He will be 30 in November. So you picked the oldest quarterback, I think.
I like the
30.
veterans.
You do like the veterans. That's actually a really good pick. I honestly just assumed he was at 30. He was one of those guys, but I see that his birthday is November 29th, 1988. Russell Carrington Wilson. Good solid pick. That makes a lot of difference because I thought you were going to go with this guy. He has a Super Bowl ring. However, he did not win the Super Bowl. I'm going to go with the fan favorite so far within the last 3 years, Mr. Carson Wentz.
Wow, that's a good choice. He is a good quarterback under 30. So before I start going to the young guns and getting into the nitty-gritty of these really up-and-coming quarterbacks, I got to go with one other stable quarterback that has had success. He has gone to the Super Bowl. He almost won the Super Bowl. He came up a little short, and he plays for Chris America's favorite team, and that would be Cam Newton.
That is a solid pick. You have a great MVP. Also, you forgot to mention he's a former MVP of the league.
Yes.
Needs to bounce back a little bit from that season. I'm hoping he'll get that under the new offense he has now, and we will see. But that is a solid pick. I had him, in my sights, but I'm on a 2-game losing streak, Cloudbeard. I need to get off the schneid. I basically became the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where I started off hot. I smoked you in the first 2 polls, and then you've just been on a tear ever since. You smoked me last week in our poll. So I got to come back, and I'm trying to take my heart out of it now. I'm trying to think about what the fans would want. So with my third pick, I got to take my heart out. I got to go with what the fans would like. I got to go for the win. I got to draft Mr. Andrew Luck.
Okay. All right, looking at that. How old is Andrew Luck? Can you clarify for me?
Andrew Luck was born on September 12th, 1989, so he is 29 years old. Just turned 29.
He just turned 29. He's not 30? Are you sure?
I'm looking at, unless Wikipedia is lying, he was born in Washington, D.C., your home state, or your home district, September 12th, 1989.
Okay. I feel like I had looked him up, and I thought he was 30 also, so maybe I looked at the wrong thing. Maybe I need to go to Wikipedia, which is a much more reliable source.
If you want to dispute it, we can. And
I wasn't going to pick him. That's a good pick, though, and it kind of leads us into some of now I'm going to start going a little bit more adventurous, going a little bit more wild with the young picks, and maybe I'm going to do this one. It's probably a little bit too early in the game to really go after this guy, but I think I'm going to do this because I wanted to throw you a little swerve. Sometimes this is a mental game where you have to outthink your opponent, and I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes, and I think he is a great up-and-coming quarterback. It's a small sample size, but I definitely need to see Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, see, I thought about picking Patrick Mahomes with my last pick, but I said don't go with your heart. Get Andrew Luck. Get the more of the fan favorite. And had I known that you assumed Andrew Luck was 30, I would have saved that pick for the last pick. But I didn't know that at the time. So, oh, man. You took my third pick. So I got to look here. I got to swerve. All right. Since you're going with the swerve of Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to meet your Patrick Mahomes with a Baker Mayfield.
Ooh, that's a good pick. I've got him on my list. He's definitely one I was thinking about, and you're obviously looking at who will be voting in this poll also. Probably a good strategy.
Well, these are two, just not only that, but these are just 2 hot names of the 2 rookies that are coming in this year. A lot of people love these 2 guys. They're a lot of fun to watch, so you got to go with the guys that excite the fans. You
do. I think you're right with it. I think we both kind of went a little safer with our first 2 picks. Now we're getting there a little edgier. All right, so I'm crossing off a lot of names off my list. I'm starting to dwindle down here. Wentz, I like that pick. That was a solid pick on your part.
I really thought that was who you were going to pick first.
Yeah, no, he's on my list, but he wasn't on the top. I got two names in mind here. I'm worried if I pick one that you're going to pick the other one next, but let me just go for it. I'm going to go Deshaun Watson with my 4th pick in the draft.
Nice. That's a good pick. That's a solid pick. He's actually starting to come back around. He was a little slow start this year out of the gate, but he's coming back around. He's thrown some really good games. Finally got the win last week against the Colts. So with that, I thought you were going to go with this name. I'm going back to the safe name, back to the type. I'm going to go Jared Goff.
Oh, okay. That's not the name I was thinking. This is good. And this last guy, this one could be a little bit iffy because some fans love him, but other fans hate him. Some fans love to hate on this guy, but he is much better than advertised. I am going with the GOAT, and that would be the great Blake
Jameis
Bortles.
Winston.
No. Blake Bortles, going with the GOAT.
Going with Blakey Blake, huh?
Yeah, you know what? This UCF legend, he is the greatest. He almost beat Tom Brady last year, the AFC Championship game. He's up and coming. Got to give some love to my guy, Blake Bortles.
All right, that leaves us with not many picks. We mentioned Jameis Winston, don't want him. Marcus Mariota, sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad. He leaves a lot left to be desired. You know, there was kind of like between 2012 and the last couple of years, there's a lot of good, solid quarterbacks, but they just don't do it. They don't meet up. They don't rise to the occasion. And so, did you already pick Kirk Cousins?
No, Kirk Cousins is 30.
Is at 30. That's right. I thought I heard Kirk Cousins. Like, okay, never mind. So, with all of that said, I think I'm going to go with the one that I don't like, but the fans are really high on. Everybody thinks he's great. I think I'm going to pull the trigger on Sam Darnold, and I don't like that I have 2 rookies on my list.
Oh, yeah. That's going to come back to haunt you, my friend. You know, it makes a big
But
difference
I'm looking
going
at
first.
Dak Prescott. I'm looking at Dak Prescott, and I'm sitting here thinking, no, a lot of fans have jumped off of that bandwagon. I don't know that anybody's really sold on Josh Rosen just yet the way that they are on Sam Darnold. Josh Allen's a no. I mean, who like Mitchell Trubisky? Is anybody really high on Mitchell Trubisky?
So if I'm looking at my honorable mention list, I've got 4 guys, 5 with Dak. So I had Dak. I had Jimmy Garoppolo. I would have had him on there. He's an honorable mention for me.
Because we should have picked him.
Marcus Mariota is an honorable mention. Derek Carr. I know a lot of people either love him or hate him, but Derek Carr is an honorable mention for me. And then the Mitchell Trubisky. Those are the last few I had on here. And on the Andrew Luck thing, I had crossed out Andrew Luck because I thought he was 30. I looked at it again, and you said it, and I don't know what I was thinking. I should have had him on my list. That was kind of a snafu on my part. And guys that are 30, like a Matt Stafford and a Kirk Cousins and a Case Keenum, there's a lot of guys out there that are right at 30 years old that would have been great on this list, but just missed the cut. So I feel good about my list, Chris America. I don't know about you. How you feeling about your quarterbacks under 30 list?
You know, I don't feel comfortable not having the great one, Patrick Mahomes, on my list. I thought about picking him, but I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just roll the dice. Maybe you'll pick somebody else. You'll find somebody else that you like better. I do like that you left off Carson Wentz. I was kind of surprised that wasn't your first pick. But like you, with Andrew Luck, I assumed Russell Wilson was over 30 because it just seems like he's been in the league forever.
It does. He does. Yeah, that was definitely a left wing out of nowhere pick for you, and I'm glad I got him. And I went safe. I figured first pick, you kind of have to go with a guy that's shown what he can do. He'd been to 2 Super Bowls, won a Super Bowl. I just got to go for under 30 quarterback Russell Wilson. Feel good about that first pick. But Carson Wentz, I mean, he could have been the MVP last year if he did not get hurt. His team, the Eagles, win the Super Bowl, and part of it is how well he played in the regular season that carried him to that point. It was Nick Foles that had to complete it for him. So I can't fault you for your first pick. I like your first pick a lot. But
Yeah.
let's see what the fans vote. We're going to put the poll up on Twitter at Scout Team Radio, and we want everybody out there that's listening to vote for who has the best and hottest team. And if you vote Loudbeard, nobody will be disappointed.
I'll be disappointed, but nobody cares about Chris America. Everybody hates Chris.
Oh, isn't that a TV show?
It is.
All right, Chris America, now that we've got some NFL quarterback stuff out of the way, we've got a few minutes left, and this weekend in college football, I would say it's got some pretty solid matchups, and I want to dive into a couple of these because we are a Florida-based radio show. We love talking about Florida sports. We try to keep it more on the national level, but there's a couple teams in Florida that have big college football matchups coming up this weekend. If you want to listen to any of our old shows, make sure you check them out on Apple Podcasts. We are the Scout Team. He's Chris America. I'm Loudbeard. We love being on the airwaves at 12 Ounce Sports Radio, and we love talking college football. So the first one I got to bring up, and maybe, you know what I'm going to do with this one? I'm going to improv here a little bit. I hope you don't mind, but I just have something that I want to do. If you have the greatest coach in all of college football, Ed Orgeron, Coach O, over there doing great stuff over in LSU, and you have that other team in Florida, the one that lives in the shadow of the Florida State Seminoles, and that would be the Gators. Chris America, if you had those two teams that you're going up against this weekend, I just have one question for you.
Who's your daddy?
Well, Florida has a little ace up their sleeve, a little ace in the hole, and that is Dan Mullen. If you guys remember last year, these two guys coached against each other. Ed Orgeron and Dan Mullen did. And Dan Mullen absolutely wiped the field with Ed Orgeron and his LSU Tigers. His Mississippi State Bulldogs absolutely blew them up. I don't expect that to happen again this year because I think Mississippi State had been in Dan Mullen's system for 9 years. They knew what to expect, what to do. He had that machine running well. He's getting Florida to that point. So I think Florida wins a close one, a 20-13 score.
Okay, that's a reasonable prediction. LSU has looked great this year. Coach O, I think, has exceeded everybody's expectations of what he is doing this year. But on the flip side, Dan Mullen, same thing, exceeding expectations, and that's what we want to see out of a coach at a prominent program like the University of Florida, and that's what we want to see out of a program when you've got two SEC powerhouses going up against each other. In years past, I would say that LSU would probably have the advantage because Florida's had a few down years over the past 10. Ever since that what was that guy's name? The T-Bob? What's that guy's name? The legend that came out of Florida? Timothy
Tom
Richard Tom T-Bob. Whatever that guy's name was. Ever since he left the program, Florida has not been the same, but it looks like they're coming back. And, oh, man, I got to go with – I'm going to stick with you, Chris America. I got to go Florida on this one. I think it's going to be close. It's probably going to be within a field goal. I'm going to go 23-20, Florida with the win. You like that? You like that?
I like that. I like that. I'm finally glad you're on Chris America's side for once. You're rooting for Chris America to be happy. So I like that. We can celebrate the Florida win by watching Khabib knock out Conor McGregor. How about that?
So Florida State is going up against Miami this weekend also. This will be a great matchup. So we know that our other co-host that is on once every other third week, he likes to talk about Florida State emphatically. And Miami, they look like they are back. Now, I know you're a little hesitant to say Miami is back, but Miami's looked good this year other than the first week of the year. Florida State has not. They have had a down year, but Willie T has a lot to prove here. This could be a prove-it game for Willie T, for Secure the Bag, and for the Florida State Seminoles. Do you think there is a chance that the Seminoles could roll and get a victory up against the Miami Hurricanes?
If Florida State rolls the Miami Hurricanes, then they're not back. They're definitely not back. I would even say if Florida State wins this game, Miami is not back. I think for me to see that Miami is truly back, to get me off of the fence that I've been on, I was on that side that Miami was back, and then I watched them lose to Pitt. Clemson, Wisconsin, and LSU all in succession. 3 of those games were blowouts. And so I've been back on the fence with the whole Miami's back thing. I think Miami has to roll Florida State, has to win by at least 2 scores, and it can't be like a junk touchdown where they're up by 7, late in the fourth quarter and they throw a late touchdown. No, this has to be the entire game. Miami is in control. Miami is up by 2 to 3 scores, and they win that way for me to say they're back. I think Miami should win. If Miami is the 17th ranked team in the nation, they should win this game.
They should win. I don't know. This could be a little bit of it could be a catch. I think Florida State might come out with some fire. So I'm going to go in my upset special of the week, my usually wrong hot take. I'm going with Florida State with a victory over Miami. Can you believe it, Chris America? Can you believe I'm going Florida State?
I do.
This
because
is crazy. Tom
you
Foolery.
are hot takey McTakerson. So I do know this, but we missed a golden opportunity here. Loudbeard, cue up the soundboard. You know exactly where I'm going. Turnover bag or secure the bag versus turnover chain. Hit it.
Who's your daddy?
Got to go turnover chain just because, that bag. Yeah, that bag. Nope, can't do that bag. All right, other matchups this weekend. This is a fun SEC rivalry, but battle. Kentucky versus Texas A&M. Jimbo, a couple tough losses this year. He's got something to prove. His team needs to show up. Kentucky, they have absolutely been rolling. And behind Benny Snell Jr., they look like they could be a reckoning in the SEC. So what do you got on this game, man? Kentucky, Texas A&M.
This is kind of a are you for real game for for Kentucky. They beat Florida. They beat Mississippi State. They beat South Carolina. They looked good beating all of those teams. This is the next team that's in line for them to prove that they're on that next level above the teams that I just mentioned, that they're on the next level above Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher. I think that they can do it, man. This Kentucky team is impressive. You mentioned Snell Jr. Touchdown Terry is doing his thing. He's a very athletic, very fast quarterback. I think that they play more physical, and I think Jimbo still needs some time to prove that he's not the Gene Chizik of college football. So I got Kentucky winning this one.
All right. I think I've got to go Kentucky also. In the back of my gut, I do feel like Texas A&M might squeak this one out because, like you said, it's a for-real game. Maybe Kentucky's coming in a little too confident. Maybe they're riding a little high. Maybe they come back and become the Kentucky that we thought they would be this season. But Texas A&M almost gets that win over Clemson, gets beat pretty bad by Alabama. I mean, they can't lose this one because then they're done for the season. They're going to lose all confidence, all hope. So this is a big game for Texas A&M. But I still think Kentucky rolls. Kentucky's going to have the advantage here. Just too much talent on that team. Now, one other matchup that I think this one's going to be a good discussion for you because you talked about how Notre Dame has been going up against this gauntlet of teams this year. They have played a lot of ranked teams, and their schedule has been tough. They have not backed down. They're going up against Virginia Tech, and this could be a good matchup. Now, Virginia Tech has not shown up the way we thought they would show up the last couple weeks, so maybe a little bit of a letdown on that end, but Notre Dame's got to show up again. They have had to come up against good team after good team after good team, and they have faced all of that competition and stepped up when they've needed to step up. So another big weekend for Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm really not a Notre Dame fan at all. I can't really stand them, but I'm a fan of being consistent with our logic and rankings. And if you're going to say beating Power 5 teams and playing a Power 5 schedule matters into rankings, then Notre Dame should be in the top 3. They're the only team in the country, I believe. I'd have to double-check this, but they're one of the only teams in the country. And I know all the other teams in the top 5 have not played 4 Power 5 teams like Notre Dame has, and they're about to play their 5th out of 6 games. 5 out of 6 games is against Power 5 teams. Now, I get it. Vanderbilt and Wake Forest aren't anything to write home about, but I believe that and you believe that, but for whatever reason, you tell us, UCF fans, that beating and going through a gauntlet of Vanderbilts and Wake Forest makes you a better team than UCF and a harder schedule. So you can't say on one hand that playing a Power 5 schedule is why they belong in the playoffs, but then when a team like Notre Dame does it, you want to discredit it because it's Vanderbilt and Wake Forest. You can't have it both ways. So if we're going to stick with that consistent logic that playing Power 5 schedule means something, Notre Dame should be ranked higher. I got Notre Dame winning this one. Virginia Tech, we bought into it because they beat Florida State and they beat them bad, but then we realized how bad Florida State was. So that win just wasn't as impressive anymore. So I got Notre Dame.
Yeah, I got to go Notre Dame also. Well, Chris America, it looks like it's that time where we wrap up the show.
I just want one more game. We don't have to overly discuss it. We talked about, is Miami back? I have to ask, is Texas back? Texas, Oklahoma.
I had that one written down, but because we were running out of time, I skipped over it. But you're right. This is, yes. The answer is yes. Texas is back, but Oklahoma's better, and I don't see Texas beating Oklahoma. Oklahoma gets the win here.
Yeah,
Oklahoma's so good.
Oklahoma.
Kyler Murray, this guy's for real. Real deal.
Yeah, can't wait, man. Texas State fair.
All right, and Monday we will discuss how bad Conor McGregor beat Khabib in UFC 229. I can't wait. It's going to be great.
I'm hoping for a sweep, man. I want to beat you in the fantasy and in the romper bet.
Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, McGregor's got this, man. You don't have to worry. Wear that romper. You're going to look good in that romper.
You want to see me in a romper so bad.
Own that romper. Come on, Chris America. Own it.